Very lovely day it is today as well, lovely and sunny, so thank you for joining me. Let us just make sure you stay safe. As always, just let me remind you, if you have any injuries, any little niggles or anything at all, just make sure you don't do anything that causes you any pain or discomfort or you feel you shouldn't be doing. So you can always rest anytime you need to. So I'm going to do a standing warm up first of all. I'm just going to move my mat forwards a little bit, just so I'm standing on my hard floor. So I've got a really nice solid base to work on. So stand wherever you can, where you feel you've got the most stability underneath your feet. So we'll just be rising up a little bit onto the front of our feet, so a little bit of balancing, so you need as much stability as you can. So from there, let's set ourselves up in our standing position. So standing nice and tall, heels underneath the bony parts of your hips or your sit bones. Just look down, make sure your feet are facing forward, so they're not turned out or turned in at all. Then look forwards and lengthen your neck. Lift up through the top of your head. Really feel your spine lengthening as if you're trying to grow a little bit taller. You should feel your chest rise, front of your shoulders open. Then just try and soften the base of your rib cage down towards your hips. Find that neutral pelvis position, so make sure your tailbone isn't tucked under or tipping up towards the ceiling. It's just settling into that neutral position in between, and then we just make that engagement to the core. So almost as if you're trying to really shorten that space in between your two hip bones there. So from there, just release your arms down by your side. Just do a little gentle shoulder roll. And then breathe in, just float your arms up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, just let them float slowly down by your sides. Remember your lateral breathing, breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathe into sides in the back of the rib cage. If you can, just lift your heels off the floor as we just float the arms up towards the ceiling, nice and tall. And then slowly bring your arms down as your heels release down. Lift and lengthen, keep your spine really long. Coming up tall if you can, keep your heels on the floor if you need to, slowly coming back down. Let's just do one more, but lift the arms up and float the heels. Now keep your heels lifted if you can. If you just float your arms down by your sides and then lower your heels, breathe in. As you breathe out, keep your shoulders over your hips and just bend the knees. Keep your spine long, don't lean forwards, keep your heels on the floor. And then breathing out, just straighten your legs. And then breathe out, reach your arms forward, bend the knees, heels on the floor at the moment. And straighten your legs, arms down. This time, let's breathe out, reach the arms forward, breathe in, lift your heels off the floor, push into the front of your feet, squeeze your glutes, straighten your legs, lower your arms and lower your heels. Sit down with your heels on the floor, don't lean forward, shoulders over your hips. Lift the heels as you breathe in and then use your exhale. Let's bring the arms down now, as we straighten the legs and then lower your heels. A little bit different next time, just a bit more of a challenge if you want to come with me or just stay with that. Let's lift the heels off the floor. As you breathe out, keep your arms reaching forward, straighten your legs, really nice and tall. Keep your heels off the floor if you can. Slide your back down that imaginary wall behind you as you bend your knees. Heels still off the floor if you can. Pushing into the front of your feet, still heels off the floor. And then just reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Then reach your arms wide to the side. Then lower your heels. Keep your arms wide to the side. Drop your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. Let's just draw some little circles on the side walls with our fingertips round and round. They don't need to be big, just getting that rotation around your shoulder joint. One more that way, then bring your fingertips to the top of your last circle and then take your circles around the other way. Keeping the shoulder blades down, keeping the chest lifted. And then just bring your arms slowly down by your sides. Take a shoulder roll there. Take your arms wide to the side. Take your hands overhead. And then interlace your fingers. And then take your hands behind the base of your skull. Elbows are nice and wide. Chest lifted. Shoulders away from your ears. Keep your arms where they are. Just draw your heels in towards each other. So your feet are in a V. Underneath your hips, your inner thighs just slightly engaged, your spine's really long. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just bend your knees. Make sure your knees go wide over your second toe, so your open knees wide to the side. Breathing in, squeeze your glutes and your inner thighs as you straighten your legs. And breathing out, again, just imagine that your back is sliding down and imagine a wall behind you. So don't lean forwards, don't lean backwards, just bending and straightening the legs. So a lot of work in our legs in our standing warm up today. So a little bit different again next time, just building. You can stay with that if you need to. Otherwise, let's bend the knees. If you can, lift your heels off the floor. Make sure the weight's even across the front of your feet. Keep the heels lifted. Squeeze your inner thighs and your glutes. Straightening the legs. And then lower your heels. Bend the knees. Lift the heels. Squeeze and keep your heels off the floor. Lift up through the top of your head. Lower your heels. One more. Bending the knees, lifting the heels, and then squeeze your inner thighs and your glutes. Only if you feel you can, keep your heels off the floor, and now bend your knees, dropping your tailbone down towards your heels. Knees wide to the side, keep your heels off the floor if you can. Last time, big effort, squeeze, lift a little bit taller if you can, and then lower your heels onto the floor. Keep your legs completely still and your hips. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take a rotation from the waist round to the left and breathing in back to center and then to the right. So you're trying to take your right elbow towards the wall behind you, keeping the nose in line with the middle of the chest all the time. So just our spine twist standing. Keep the legs pinned together. Try not to take your hips round with you. Good. Let's do one more each way. Right elbow towards the wall behind, left elbow, sorry, my left and my right. So I'm reversed to you, remember, because I'm a reflection of you. And then back to center. Keep your hands where they are if you can. Breathe in as you breath. Take a side bend. Drop your left elbow down towards the floor, your right elbow up towards the ceiling. And then straighten your spine and go the other way. So our lateral flexion of our spine. Try not to take your hip with you. Keep your hips level. Put your arms down by your sides if you need to. Just slide your hand down your thighs if it becomes too much. With your hands behind your head. We're only going to do one more each way. See if you can get your elbow a little bit further towards the floor. And then other way. Right elbow down, left elbow up towards the ceiling. Straighten your spine. Let your fingers go. Reach your arms up. Circle your arms wide, all the way down by your sides. Roll your shoulders. Step your left leg wide, keeping your foot turned out. Step your right leg, doesn't matter which way. We're coming into a wide plie stance here. Heels turned in, toes turned out. So your feet should be in a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock position here. So we've done those little squats and balances with our legs parallel, with our heels together, and now we're going to follow on with our legs really wide. If at any time you want to bring your feet in, so underneath your hips with your feet facing forwards, do so. Arms down by your side, shoulders away from ears. Again, the shoulders are going to stay over our hips. Breathe in as you breathe out. This time, we're going to reach the arms wide to the side as we bend the knees. Tailbone goes down towards the floor in between your heels. Push into your feet, squeeze your glutes, like you're trying to squeeze your inner thighs together as you straighten your legs. And then squatting down, push your knees wide over your second toes. And then it's almost like when you're trying to pull the floor apart in between your feet. And let's go down again. Remember to keep your spine long, your shoulders over your hips, push into your feet. One more last little challenge, if you can. Keep your heels on the floor if you need to, that is your option. Otherwise, lift your heels off the floor. Keep your arms reaching wide to the side. Squeeze your thighs and your glutes, heels off the floor. Then lower your heels and your arms come down. Let's reach again. Bend the knees. Lift the heels and then pressing into the front of your feet. One more last challenge. Keep your heels off the floor. Can you bend your knees? Push your knees wide to the side. Coming into your wide squat with your heels up and then push into the front of your feet. Lower your heels and bring your arms all the way down by your sides. A lot of work there in our legs. Let's roll the shoulders. Bring your legs in and give your legs a little gentle shake there. Just if you've got any tension built up into your legs. So we are going to now just take the spine into forward flexion, rolling down, and a little bit of extension at the top, just taking that little baby back bend. Watch your backs here. When you come down, bend your knees a lot if you need to, or just slide your hands down your thighs. You don't need to go all the way down. just depending on the flexibility of your spine, the strength in your core, depending on how tight your hamstrings, your calves and your hip flexors are as well. So let's go. Arms down by your sides, breathe in. Nice big in-breath, and as you breathe out, just drop your chin towards the chest. Let's round the shoulders, round the upper back, round the mid-back. If you can, just let your arms hang. They're just dangling in front of your legs. Bend your knees if you need to. Maybe you can just get your fingertips just to rest on the floor. If you can, come all the way down. Breathe in as you breathe out. And navel is glued to your spine here. We're slowly rebuilding our spines. Shoulders over your hips. Then look forwards. Let's take that extension. Lift your arms up. Look up. Watch your backs here. Don't lean backwards if you've got back issues. If you haven't, if you're fine to do it, squeeze your glutes. Open your arms. Lift your chest towards the ceiling, just a little back bend. Don't try and lean back too far, just extending our spines. Look forwards, bring your arms shoulder distance apart overhead. Your arms are just slowly going to release down by your sides, and then we're coming down again. Remember the options you have here, either not go all the way down, or a big bend in the knees, or just rest your hands on your thighs. Maybe you can get more than your fingertips on the floor this time. Maybe you can get your whole of your fingers, maybe even the palms of your hands on the floor. And then slowly come back up. You can even slide your hands up the front of the legs if you want a little bit of support. Otherwise, ragdoll arms, slowly rebuilding. Let's extend our spines as well, if that's a good option for you. Arms reach up, look up, squeeze your glutes, open your arms, lift the chest, just bending slightly backwards. Arms towards each other overhead. Drop your shoulders down into your back pockets. Release your arms down by your sides. And then we're going to come down nice and slowly. This time we're staying down this time. So bend your knees a lot if you need to get down towards the mat. Then all of us soften your knees, walk out onto your mat, coming into your tabletop position there. So you should have your wrists under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers if you need to, so then you've got the weight evenly across the whole of your handprint, or make fists of your hands. That's another option if you've got wrist issues, or your last option if you need to come down onto your forearms. Just make sure you're on your forearms, but your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Otherwise, long spine, so we're in our tabletop position here. So, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to slide the right leg along the floor, and then we're going to lift it up so it's in line with your hip, reaching through your toes. Now take another in-breath. As you breathe out, keep your spine and your neck really long. Just bend your right knee and draw it in towards you till it's just maybe underneath your hip or a little bit further forward than that without moving your spine. And then breathing in, just slide the leg away again. Lengthen it, so keeping it at hip height. And then breathing out, knee comes in. And breathing in, it stretches away. Just really reach through your toes there. Let's do that 3 more times. Everything else is really still. So using your core to stabilize, stretch the leg away. 2 more. Remember, just come down onto your forearms anytime you need to if it becomes too challenging. We should be balanced both sides of the body, so try not to lean over to the left here. So this is the last one. Keep your right leg extended really long. Now flex the foot and then point your toes. And flex and point. So just feeling the muscles in the front and the back of the leg, switching on and switching off. And then last time, flex your foot. Breathe in as you lower your toes down towards the floor, and breathe in and lift the leg up again. So your heel is going up towards the ceiling, tap down with your toes and lift up through the heel. Feel it in your glute, your hamstring. That's number 3. We're doing 5. Tap down, lift up. Last time, tap down, lift up. Now point your toes, breathe in, lift your right leg a little bit higher. As you breathe out, take your right leg wide to the side and lower it down towards the floor, so you're tapping your toes wide to the right hand side. Breathe in, sweep the leg back up, it's in line with your sit bone. Tap it wide to the side and down, and sweep it up again. So I've got 3 more of those. If you can, keep the leg really long. 2 more, so a lot of weight bearing here in your upper body, so stay strong. And last time, tap down, lift the leg up, put the knee on the floor underneath your hip. Before we do the other side, just sit on your heels or come to a high knee, roll your shoulders, particularly that right wrist. You might want to circle both of your wrists just to release off any tension. Can we come back down, reset yourself in a really good posture here, find your tabletop. Let's work the left leg now, so breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the left leg along the floor. And then lift the leg up, reaching through your toes, the leg is in line with your hip. Breathe in as you breathe out, keeping everything else really still. Just bend the knee and bring the knee underneath your hip, maybe a little bit closer towards your chest, as long as you don't round your spine. Slowly stretch your leg away. And we're going to do that 4 more times. So 4 repetitions of each stretch. In and away. 2 more. And last time, so this last time, if you remember, we stretch the leg where we keep it there. Now flex your foot, press through your heel, breathe in. As you breathe out, tap your toes on the floor and lift the leg up and down and up and down and up and down and up. Point your toes, flex your foot, maybe a different order, point your toes, flex your foot, point your toes, flex your foot, point your toes, lift the leg a little bit higher, breathe in. As you breathe out, tap the left toes wide to the left-hand side on the floor. Breathe in, sweep the leg back up, legs in line with your hip, and go again, tap to the left, nice and wide. It's like a quarter of a circle, I guess, here we're doing. 3 more, tap down, and lift up, 2 more. Tap down, up, last time. And put your knee underneath your hip again. Sit on your heels, high knee, let's roll the shoulders again. Just get a little bit of movement back into your shoulders and circle your wrists. A few circles one way and then a few circles the other way. You might just want to wiggle your fingertips, fingers a little bit there as well. So from there, let's come down, let's lie down, walk your knees back, come all the way down, nice and slowly onto your front. So we're going to extend the spine now. Working the back of the body in our prone position. Take your arms in a capital W position today. So your elbows are a little bit lower than your shoulders. Your forearms are a little bit wider than your elbows. So you've got a sort of a 45-degree angle-ish between your elbows there. Palms and forearms flat on the floor. Draw your shoulder blades back and down. Your legs are long behind you, lengthen through the top of your head. And if you can, just keep your head hovering off the mat. So your nose is pointing down. You've got that length through the top of your head. Imagine those drawing pins underneath your belly button. So pull the abdominals in. So just gently pressing your pelvic bone down into the floor. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, we're just going to slowly float the head and the chest away from the floor without pressing into the arms. Feel the length in your upper spine. Breathe in, lower back down again. And then stay with this if you want to. Just keep your feet on the floor, lifting and lengthening. And coming back down on your inhale. Let's just do 1 more like that. So I'm going to slowly add in another layer or 2. So next option, as you float your head and your chest, just bring your hands away from the floor with your hands and your arms. So just you've got the added weight of our arms now. Your arms, forearms come down. Just bring your head to that hover. And go again, lengthen and lift on your exhale. And inhale, coming down. Keep your pelvic bone pressing into the floor here. So you keep your lower back really open. Let's keep going with this. We'll just, again, keep your forearms on the floor if you need to. Last time like this. A little bit more length. And then come down. Now watch your back. So we're going to reverse the breath. We're going to come up nice and tight, but only if your lower back allows you to. So as you breathe in this time, strong in your glutes and your core, let's slowly peel the head, the chest, the forearms, maybe the ribs, and maybe your abs away from the floor, looking forwards, chest is forwards. And breathing out, lengthen your spine as you come down. So try and keep really long, let your head come to that hover just off the mat. Breathing in length, and the top of your head is reaching forwards. The back of your head is going up towards the ceiling. Engage your glutes and your core. Draw your shoulder blades back and down as you lift up. So now we're extending all the way down our spine. So that lovely extension. We're getting that stretch down the front of the chest and the abdominals if you're coming up high. This time, wherever you are, come up as high as you feel you can. Keep your glutes strong. Look forwards, keep the length in your neck. Breathe in as you back. Just turn your head to the left, like you're looking over your left shoulder. Breathe in, look forwards. Breathe out. Turn your head to the right, look over your right shoulder. Breathe in, look forwards, and breathe out. Slowly come all the way down. Lower your upper body down onto the floor. Then pop your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up onto your hands and knees. Walk your knees in until they're underneath your hips. Back into tabletop, onto your forearms if you need to. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's take a cat stretch. Tuck your tail under, around the spine. Really arch your back. Soften your elbows. Push into your hands. Breathe as you just hold that stretch. So we're flexing the spine as we work quite a lot in extension there when we're relying on our fronts. And then just find your neutral tabletop position. Then walk your hands towards the bottom end of the mat, so you've got the length of the mat behind you. Coming into a seated position, sit really nice and tall, shoulders over your hips, chest lifted, ribs drawn down. So that same position for your torso that we found when we were standing. Heels in line with your knees and your sit bones, and then reach the arms wide to the sides. Arms are nice and wide, a little bit of softness in the elbows. Try and make sure your arms are a little bit lower than your shoulders. If you lift them too high, then our shoulders are going to creep up towards our ears. We would need to avoid that happening. So palms are facing forwards. Breathe in. As you breathe out, scooping your navel in towards your spine. Let's just tuck the tailbone under, roll off your sit bones, slowly coming back as you bring your arms in towards each other until they're shoulder distance apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, use your abdominals. Pull the abdominals in. Slowly come up, restack your spine when your shoulders are over your hips, arms reach wide to the side. Breathe in. As you go, tuck and roll. Just feel your shoulders wide across your back as you pull your arms in towards each other. Breathe in. As you breathe out, coming back up. Restack your spine. I'm going to add in, if you want to come with me. Breathe in. As you breathe out, as you roll back, just slide your right heel along the floor. Extend your right leg along. Reach through your toes. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the heel back in. Put your foot back where it came from as we come and sit nice and tall. And then the other foot, slide it along the floor, reach through your toes and your fingertips and reaching forwards. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the leg back in. Sit really nice and tall. One more of those each side. Maybe you might feel you can just go back a little bit further, maybe just onto your lower back there. Breathe in, slide the foot back in on your exhale, reach your arms wide to the side. Last time. So just another one with your left leg. Reach through your fingertips and your toes here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the leg back in. Reach your arms wide to the side. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Slide your legs away. Flex your feet, toes to ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take a forward fold. Bring your head, your chest, your arms towards your legs. Stretch your lower back, stretch your legs. Bend your knees if you need to. Keep your legs long, keep your feet flexed. Let's slowly float your arms up towards the ceiling. Reach your arms wide to the side, and this time draw your arms in towards each other so they're shoulder distance apart. So we're going to do our half roll backs with our legs long, but bend your knees again if you need to. Otherwise, your legs are pinned together, toes to ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to roll back, just onto your lower back. Stay here. As you breathe in, lift your arms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, reach your arms forward. We're going to use our inhale this time to come all the way up. Roll back. Float your arms. Fingertips to the ceiling. Reach forward and then come back up. Just do two more if you can. Or just come straight back up if you can't hold your C curve. Arms up. Don't worry if you can't get your arms all the way up in line with this. Just float your arms as high as you can. Come back up. Last time. Sit really nice and tall and then roll back. Lift the arms. Reach them forward. Coming all the way up, and again, let's breathe in, lift the arms up towards you. Let's forward fold again, so just getting that nice stretch. Keep the length in your spine, lengthen your legs, bend your knees if you need to. Then from there, let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling, circle your arms wide to the side, bring your arms down by the side of your hips, relax your feet, and shake out your legs. So from here, we're going to come down to a lying position. So we're going to lie on our back. So put your hands on the floor if you need to. Keep your feet on the floor if you need to, or even roll over onto your side to come down safely. If you feel you can, just lift your feet off the floor and slowly with control, lower your shoulders and your head down onto the mat. And then put your feet on the floor one at a time. Find your neutral lying position now. So again, that same neutral position for your torso that we found standing and seated. So again, just keeping the spine long, lower back's on the floor, maintaining that natural curve in our spine, and ribs are softened down towards our hips. So engage your core. Lift your arms up towards the ceiling, and now just make sure your shoulders are wide across your back and your shoulders are on the mat. We haven't lifted the shoulders up as we reached our arms up. Okay, so from here, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to drop the left knee wide to the side, coming onto the outside of your left foot. As both of your arms go wide to the side, resist the floor. Don't let your arms go all the way down. And then pull the knee back in, knee to ceiling, and your fingertips to the ceiling. And then your right knee, just drop it wide to the side, coming onto the outside of your right foot, arms nice and wide, chest and shoulders really nice and wide there, and then bring the fingertips to the ceiling, your knee to the ceiling. Let's do one more of those each way. So just a really nice hip and chest opener here. Focus on using your breathing, and your core should be really engaging here. Last time, right knee drops. Then shall we make those doubles? Only if you feel you can, do one at a time if you need to. Otherwise, as you breathe out, drop your knees away from each other so you're on the outsides of both of your feet. Pull the knees back in, pull the arms back towards each other over your shoulders. And let's do one more like that. Open the knees, open your hips, open your arms. Pull the arms in, pull the knees in. So keep your legs, your feet, your knees exactly where they are. Lower your arms down by your sides. Turn your palms down to face the mat, shoulders away from your ears. Still strong in your abdominals. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your right foot off the floor. Bring your right leg to a tabletop position. And then as you breathe in, stretch your right leg away. Try and reach your toes to the wall in front of you. Then breathing out, bring your knee over your hip and then put your foot lightly back down on the floor on your in-breath. Left leg tabletop, left leg stretches away, extending leg fully out of your hip. Bend the knee, foot goes down. One of those each side. All the time, your lower back should be on the mat. Don't let it arch. So don't take the legs so low to the floor that it allows your lower back to lift. Stretch the leg away, knee over your hip. Foot goes back down. So stay with that if you want to. Otherwise, I'm going to lift the feet off the floor one at a time. Bring the knees over your hips. Now turn your palms in to face your hips, thumbs to ceiling. So both of your legs are in tabletop. We are going to alternate a single leg stretch with the opposite arm scissoring towards the floor behind you. So breathe in. As you breathe out, let's stretch the right leg away, reaching through your toes, and take the left arm back towards the floor behind you in line with your ear. And breathing in, bring the knee back over your hip, the arm down by your sides. Your left leg stretches away. Straight line, just shoot it away. And bring the arm back down. And your knee back over here. Put both of your feet back down on the floor. Go back to that first level if you need to. You can still take your arm back as you extend the leg away. So we're in a really slow scissor here. So work with your breath. Remember your lateral breathing, breathing into your upper body so we can really keep the abdominals really switched on to keep your back safe, your pelvis stable. Maybe let's just do one more of those each way. So finishing we need to do one more. So right leg, wasn't it, first? And then finish with your left leg and your right arm. Then bring your knees in and put your hands on top of your knees. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Give your knees a good hug. Take a little rock from side to side, just allowing your lower back, your hips to release on the mat. Then one at a time, put your feet back down on the floor. So let's focus a little bit more onto our upper core muscles, your upper abdominals, and our obliques, our side waist muscles. So we warmed them up a little bit standing when we did our spine twist. So I think we've probably warmed up the whole of the body by now. So take your fingertips to the side of your head. Fingertips lightly on your temples. If you've got neck issues or challenges with your neck and you need a bit of support, just interlace your fingers and just take your hands behind the back of your head so you can gently press your head into your hands. The sequence we're going to do is much easier, however, if you can just rest your fingertips on the side of your head. Make sure your elbows are in your peripheral vision, so they're slightly lifted away from the floor in line with the tops of your ears. Keep the length in your neck. Keep your pelvis completely still in neutral. Your abs are really strong here now. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the head and shoulders off the floor. We're going to reach the right hand to the outside of your left knee. Keep your hips facing the ceiling, so get that little twist in your spine. You're going to take the fingertips back to the side of the head as you lower your shoulders and your head back down. Exhaling, so we're going to reach the left fingertips up and over, so you're lifting your upper body away from working into your side waist muscles there. Fingertips back to the side of the head as your shoulders and your head come down. So just extend your right arm fully, reach the outside of your knee, maybe to the outside of your thigh. It just depends on your mobility, your core strength, how far you can lift up and over. So we're still taking the left shoulder over to the right hip, opposite shoulder to hip. So still getting that twist in your spine. And off, keep going with that. Let's do one of those each side, finishing with your left arm extending, reaching up and over. And then you can stay with that. Otherwise, if you want to work a little bit more, let's lift the feet off the floor one at a time. Bring your legs to tabletop. Keep your legs exactly where they are. Breathe in as you breathe out. Right arm up and over to the outside of your left leg, wherever your fingertips might reach. Slowly coming down. And then the other side. So up and over you go. And back down. Keep going. Put your feet on the floor if you need to. Let's just do one more each side. If you need to rest, just take a rest. Last time, left arm up and over. And then bring your arms, head and shoulders down. And then again, just take that release just by bringing your knees in towards your chest. Take a little gentle rock from side to side, and you can just turn your head from side to side if that helps you release off into the back of your neck. So from there, let's put the feet down on the floor. One more last little bit to do with the legs in this semi-supine position. So we are just going to keep the left one foot on the floor all the time for this next sequence. Let your arms rest slightly on the mat down by your side. Stabilize, spine neutral, your neutral pelvis position, strong in your abdominals. And then from there, just take your right leg to a tabletop position and then extend your right leg straight over your hip if you can, toes to ceiling. A little bit of softness in the knees if you need to, otherwise the leg is straight. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lower your right leg slowly down towards the floor without allowing your lower back to arch. As you breathe in, we're going to sweep the leg wide to the side and up towards the ceiling, so you've drawn a capital D with your right leg. Exhaling, lower the leg down towards the floor. Inhale, sweep the leg wide to the side and up, keeping the pelvis completely still and your lower back all the time. Let's do that 3 more times. Exhale down, inhale wide to the side and up. So it's a big sweeping semicircle. Bring the leg back over your hips so the leg's perpendicular to the floor as best as it can be when we start off. Then last time like that. And then we're going to reverse. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take the leg wide to the side and down towards the floor. And then as you breathe in a straight line, bring the legs straight back over your hip. And go again, 4 more like that, wide to the side and down, so your heels in line with your hip. Lift the leg up, keep everything else really still. Again, soften into the knee if you need to. 2 more. You can make these really small, these range of movements if you need to. Last time. And then the leg's going to come back over your hip. Then bend your right knee, hug your right knee in towards your chest, really nice and close. And then circle your ankle. A few circles one way, a few circles the other way. Then pop your foot on the floor, reset. And then let's do our left leg. So when you're ready, left leg tabletop, extend it long, toes to ceiling. Leg over your hip, bend your knee a little bit if you need to. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lower your left leg slowly down towards the floor. You don't need to take it too low if your back arches, and then we're going to take it wide to the side and up towards the ceiling over your hip. 4 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, wide to the side and up. So your right foot should be really light on the floor. Try not to let your knee wander to one side or the other. Keep that stability all the time. 2 more. Try and relax your upper body. Try not to press into your arms either. Use your core to stabilize. Last time, that backwards capital D. Let's draw it the other way. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take the leg wide to the side and down towards the floor. Legs and heels in line with your sit bone. And sweep it back up. And just 4 more of those. Wide to the side and down. And lift it back up. Remember, these might be really small. You might need to keep them really small to keep your stability. Otherwise, as big a range of movement as you can. And one more last time. Sweep the leg up, bend your knee. Hands on your knee, hug your knee in towards your chest, circle your ankle. A few circles one way, and then a few circles the other way. Let's put the left foot down. Bring your right foot and your left foot nice and close to your sit bones now. So, a lot of work with the legs now. We did those semicircles with our legs. So let's do the same with our arms in a bridge. First of all, just straight forward, up and down. So in our bridge, set yourself up so your head's on the floor. If you did put anything underneath your head for lying down exercise, just slide that away so the back of your head's on the floor, nice and long in your neck. Heels are close towards your sit bones, about hand distance away. Knees and feet still in line with your sit bones, hip distance apart. Again, engage your core, breathe in. As you breathe out, off you go. Tuck your tail, flatten your back into that. Squeeze your glutes and peel your spine away from that. Lift your hips high. Try not to flare your rib cage. Try not to hyperextend. Breathe in. As you breathe out, roll back down again. So trying to move every bone of your spine on the way up and on the way down. Let's come up again. So just gently press into your feet, maybe a little bit heavier in your heels. Push your knees forward if that helps you keep your stability. Squeeze your glutes, pull in the abdominals. So we're really trying to keep strong, stable balance both sides of the body. So your hips stay level all the way up and all the way down. Let's do 1 more of those, and you can stay with this if you want to. Remember, you don't even need to come up into a full bridge if it's not for you. Just do your little pelvic tips and tilts at the bottom of the bridge if that's enough. If you can, let's come into our bridge and let's stay in our bridge. Feel really strong. Turn your palms in to face each other, thumbs to ceiling. Without moving anything else, breathe in, take your arms towards the floor behind you, maybe just tapping your thumbs on the floor. And as you breathe out, turn your palms outwards, sweep your arms around by your sides and draw them in. And arms go back, breathing in and breathing out, they sweep around. So again, we draw those great big sweeping semicircles with our arms. Arms go back and they sweep round by your sides. How many more can we do without the hips sinking towards the floor? Keep pushing into your feet, push your knees forward, come down if you need to. 2 more if you can. Really working the back of the body, our hamstrings, our glutes. Last time. Breathe out, sweep your arms wide to the side. Stay here, turn your palms down to face the floor. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, slowly coming all the way down. Melt your spine down into the mat. Well done. Lift your feet off the floor 1 at a time. Give your knees a really good hug. Take a little gentle rock from side to side, just releasing off into your lower back. Then one at a time, put your feet on the floor, pin your insides of your knees together, pin the inside of your ankles together, lengthen your lower back on the floor, take your arms wide to the side, turn your palms to face the ceiling, shoulders way away from your ears there, have your arms a little bit lower than shoulder height, look at the ceiling. Breathe in, as you breathe in, let your knees fall over to the left and turn your head to the right. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. Breathe out, use your waist muscles, knees to ceiling, look up at the ceiling. Breathing in, drop your knees over to the right, turn your head to the left. So you don't need to get your knees on the floor, that isn't the main aim. The main aim is to just get that mobility, that rolling the hips across the mat, the work in your waist and the mobility in your spine and your neck as well. You just want to gently turn your head from side to side. If it's not for you, just make sure you're just looking up towards the ceiling. So just slowly winding down. I'm just going to keep our feet on the floor for our hip rolls today. And let's just do one more each way. Dropping these over to the left, to centre. And drop your knees over to the right. And to centre. So from there, just keep your arms where they are. Just let your knees fall away from each other, wide to the sides, and draw the soles of your feet together. So you're in our butterfly pose. Just maybe bounce your knees gently up and down, just to release off in your hips and your inner thighs, very gently. And then release. And then take your arms overhead and bend your elbows. Catch hold of opposite elbows with your hands and allow your arms, your folded arms, just to rest on the mat overhead. Just take a breath or two there. So try and sink the whole of the body onto your mat. Just breathe. Nice big deep breaths. So it's a really nice relaxation pose. If it's not for you, just bring your knees in together. Just trying to switch off just for a moment or two. And never long enough. Pull your knees together. Slide your heels along the floor. Point your toes. Reach your arms long overhead. Reach through your fingertips. Take a full body stretch now. So just making ourselves as long as we can be. Then from there, bring your arms up and over. Put them on the mat down by your sides one at a time. Let's slide the feet in. And then bring your left knee in towards your chest. Hands on top of your knee. Give your knee a hug. And then extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. Just stretch your hamstring, hands behind your thigh, maybe behind your calf. Just gently draw the leg in towards you. Breathe as you stretch your left leg. Then just gently let it float away. Just circle your ankle with your legs still extended up towards the ceiling. Circle your ankle the other way. Bend your knee, put your foot on the floor. Let's hug the right knee in. Nice and close, and then extend the right leg up for your hamstring stretch. Hands behind your thigh or behind your calf. Try not to lift your tailbone off the floor. Breathe into that stretch. So shoulder bridge particularly, that really works the back of the leg. So really good to stretch them out. Just let the leg float away and then circle your ankle. You can bend your knee if you need to. A few circles one way, a few circles the other way. Then bend your right knee again. Bring your left knee in to join it. Both of your knees are in towards your chest. Hug your elbows into your sides and lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Maybe take your hands a little bit further down the legs towards your ankles, and then just bring your nose and your knees nice and close together. So in our full body stretch, we were as long as we can be, and now we're as small as we can be. Put your head and shoulders down on the floor if you need to. Can you just gently rock from side to side? Very gentle little rock. And then from there, just come up to a seated position. If you need to put your feet on the floor, roll over onto your side to come up safely, do that. Otherwise, just take a roll up to seated. And then from there, let us cross our legs today. So your knees are nice and wide, your hips are wide, just a little bit of openness into your hips there. Sit really nice and tall, shoulders over hips, lengthen your spine, lengthen your neck. Let's pop the hands on the mat down by your sides. Breathe in as you breathe out, take a side bend, just take your left arm up and over. Again, stretching, pulling the ribs away from the hips without your sit bone lifting off the floor. Bring your arm back down by your sides, go the other way. Bend your left elbow. If you can, just get a little bit more deep into that stretch. Then bring your arm down by your sides. And then float your arms forward, interlace your fingers, turn your hands inside out, push the palms of your hands forward, straighten your arms, pull your shoulders wide across your back, feel that lovely stretch across your shoulders and your back. Now float your arms up towards and just let your fingers go. Take your arms wide to the side, take your hands behind your hips, so they're a little bit wider than the hips. Breathe in as you breathe out, just push your chest forwards and upwards, look up towards the ceiling, pull your shoulder blades in and down, opening up the chest, the shoulders. Walk your hands to the side of the hips, sit really nice and tall, nice big in-breath, arms wide to the side. Just bring your palms together overhead and slowly draw your hands down towards the center of your chest. Shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in, let's sweep the fingertips up towards the ceiling, pull the elbows back in line with your ears, soften your elbows, and then reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, open your arms nice and wide, and then slowly bring your arms all the way round and down by the side of your hips. Then you probably want to uncross your legs, give your legs a little bit of a shake, roll your shoulders, and well done, thank you very much. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful Easter, enjoy your Easter, have a good break, enjoy the lovely weather we've got this week as well. So thanks again for joining me.